And what's up, hockey fans? And welcome to episode number 74 of Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast, recording here on April 27th, 2022. Episode 74. Wow, we've been at this for a long time.
We really like forever.
I know. Right? It's unbelievable. But no, we got a fun little show lined up for you today. We're going to step outside the box a little bit. We haven't done a show like this in a while where we just talk about a hockey topic, right? And with the NHL playoffs getting ready to start, the places are mostly set. So I figured almost. Yeah. I mean, it's about as locked up as it's going to get, right? And we can't wait till next week because it's going to start next week.
It's cool.
And besides that, next week we have our AHL Utica Comets North Division preview show coming, and that's going to be a humdinger. So, you know. But anyways, I do want to let it. We're shorthanded again this week too. As you know what, I think I ought to change this name of this show to the penalty kill because we're always shorthanded.
This is true.
Yeah, Gumper came back last week. He's gone back playing shuffleboard again because we're on Wednesday night this week. I screwed them all up.
I know.
Because last week we were Thursday night, so he was able to, but, you know, shuffleboard takes precedent. Whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we ought to ask that guy who just rode by on the motorcycle to join the show.
I'm thinking, would somebody just pull up?
Well, I was going to ask you, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling fine. That wasn't gas.
But anyways, Jeremy can't be here tonight. He's got other commitments lined up. So last week's guest, Drew Bray, is going to be joining us. He said he wanted to be a part of this show. But right now, he's actually becoming a celebrity. He has got NBC Sports Washington at his house.
Nice.
Talking to him about that game he went to.
Does he know what the priorities are here?
Well, we're going to have to teach him.
Yeah, really. Tell those guys he's got to do this show first and then.
But I will say, I think NBC Sports Washington has a little bit more of a reach.
Well, I don't know. Did a story one time and some people contacted me from India.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, really? They said, no, we saw this story on the film that was being done there. And anyway.
No kidding.
Yeah, the filmmakers that were interested in doing stuff here in Little Falls. So.
Oh, well, you know what's really interesting is, and I don't want to get too far sidetracked, but
we are.
Well, of course, it only took us 2 minutes to get off the rails.
Well, you didn't even introduce me, so it's.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. I mean, besides, anybody who watches the show by now knows who you are.
All right.
But if it makes you feel better, I'm talking to my producer, the one and the only Mr. Dave the Save Warner.
Okay, all right, that makes me feel better.
There,
I needed to hear my nickname.
I was just going to say, don't walk off the set on me. That's all I can.
So you got it.
But no, actually, it's funny because we're not the only show produced in the studio.
I know.
We got quite the little operation going on here.
Yeah, we got more. We started with a new one today. Actually, the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce doing a bi-weekly podcast.
Very cool.
Yeah, and they had come on as a guest. Michelle Hummel, the executive director, came on as a guest on another show here and got so excited about it, said, I want to do it. I want to do it. That was like last week.
Yeah.
And here she is in the studio today. So it was fun.
Cool. Yeah, because you got Tiffany talks. She comes out and talks about flowers. I mean, that's
flowers and gardening and stuff and stuff I know nothing about. But I identified some flowers last week, and she was just blown away. She brought them in. She brings me gifts. You don't.
Yes, I do.
No.
Yes, I do.
I give you cookies.
I bring the gift of me.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
But I mean, I was going to ask you, when you're identifying these flowers, is it like you on Breakaway Trivia? You just pick one flower. That's a tulip. That's a tulip. That's a tulip. Well, is that what this is like?
I can't say Gretzky.
Yeah, well, yeah. Maybe you can name a flower a Gretzky.
Okay,
how's that?
All right, yeah, I'll do that.
Oh boy! But while we're waiting for Drew to get here, because like I said, I do want him to be a part of this NHL preview show. Couple of real quick items here. And I hate to start the show on a sad note, but I think it's so necessary to recognize Guy Lafleur passed away the other day. Man, this has just been a hard past week or so for hockey fans everywhere. I mean, between losing Guy and Mike Bossy, I mean, this is a few months back, Clark Gillies. This has just been rough.
Been rough for a lot of people. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, he was only 70 years old too. Jeez. But what a legend. I tell you, unbelievable. You remember that Zamboni time machine we did about his disco album?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at that the other day. I was like,
yeah. I was wondering why you're not doing those anymore.
Well, you know why? Because I think I'm going to save that for summer.
Okay.
Because, and here's another thing too. I might as well, while we're waiting for Drew, I might as well throw this in too. So obviously the off season is going to be coming. And with the off season, there's not a lot going on, of course, but we want to keep the show going all year long because and Dave, I just like being around you so much.
Yeah.
So anyways, so during the off season, I want to bring in more like hockey history topics.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Stuff like that, so a little off the beaten path kind of things.
No.
So, to keep life interesting.
All right. Sounds good.
So anyways, and also, I don't know anybody who reads martysillegalstick.com. That is our website where we, I put up a lot of articles on an almost daily basis about hockey goings on here in Central New York. Anyways, I put up the Mohawk Valley Hockey Club, which I do happen to be the president of. We are looking to build a deck hockey rink. And that's trying like crazy to make this a reality. It's going to be built up in Mohawk, New York, of course.
Yeah.
With the help of the EMPowerPlay Project. As a matter of fact, Kelly, who's the head of the EMPowerPlay Project, was on our show. Oh gosh, what was it? December? I think it was.
I wasn't here. Was he on then?
It was a while ago. Yeah, you were.
I was.
Well, yeah, you were alternate Dave.
Yeah,
then.
I was.
That's
That's
right.
Which is a whole other story.
Okay, we're not get into that. Yeah. No, let's avoid that. But anyways, this would be a first of its kind in Central New York. It's deck hockey. Just think of it this way: it's hockey without skates. Deck hockey, you play in sneakers. It's played with a ball. Anybody can play it because that's been a big problem for ice hockey. Really,
right?
You have to be able to skate to play, and not everybody can skate.
But what's the real? I mean, the real thing is it lowers the cost of entry for the kids who
significantly.
Number one, give them something to do, but who may end up becoming future stars.
Sure,
you give them that start. If they've got a family where they can't afford these expensive skates and all the gear, they've got sneakers on anyway, and they can get out there and play and learn the game. And then at the end, they just have to learn to skate if they really want to go forward. Absolutely.
I mean, here's it's funny because we've been doing a youth program. A youth hockey program since 2017, and we obviously we play our games out of gymnasiums. We're trying to get the rinks so that we can obviously expand the programs and whatnot. But I mean, we only charge $40 for an entry fee, and you get a shirt, and we provide a helmet, gloves. So as opposed to and believe me, I understand why youth ice hockey is so expensive because ice time is astronomical as it is, right? Which is understandable. Think about what goes into that.
Yeah.
You got your compressors, you got your Zambonis, you got all the tons of maintenance that goes,
Yeah.
But I mean, deck hockey is obviously significantly less expensive than ice hockey, which is a huge advantage. And like I said, you don't have to be able to skate, but we have had kids that started off in our program, got to love the game, and then went on to play in like Clinton youth hockey, Whitestown youth hockey. So I mean, there is that segue is available. So,
and I mean, I've looked at their website and looked at what they've done, and it looks incredible to me. The opportunity to, and it's not just Mohawk. You're like the leading edge of it. If we can get the one there, and we can get them up and down the Mohawk Valley,
right?
Then we can create tournaments and they can travel, travel from Mohawk to Little Falls for a game or something like that. I mean,
that is ultimately the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, you get one rink, it's almost like Field of Dreams, right?
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
So obviously, ultimately the plan is because in the thing with our youth program, it stops at 13 years old because getting enough gym time is very difficult, especially during the winter because gym time is at a premium.
Right.
So with a rink, you'll be able to have a program all the way up through. And what we'd ultimately like to be able to do is obviously have our youth program. But then once they get into that high school age, that's when you can start having schools having their own teams.
Right.
And obviously we would have a rink available for them to play. So that's kind of how we're, pointing the direction here to grow it. So
would you look at like during the winter time, what would you do about snow and stuff like that? So would you clear it or what?
Most likely not. Because but then again, you don't know what kind of winter you're going to get.
Right. So
you really can't plan anything during the winter. So for say the months of December, January, February, and probably March, you're pretty much out of because it's an outdoor rink.
Right.
But if once your snow melts and you are cleared to go though, so instead of having a 1-season program, you'd have 3.
Yeah.
And with a deck hockey rink, you don't have just hockey. You could have box soccer, box lacrosse. You could do pretty much anything. The possibilities are endless.
Kind of, I mean, we don't have a visual of it, but what does it look like? I mean, for people who can't visualize that, explain what it looks like.
So it's plastic squares, 1 foot by 1 foot, and they interlock, and it looks exactly like an ice hockey rink, except the surface is plastic instead of ice.
So, they've got the boards too, right?
Got the boards.
Yep.
And usually the end, like the end boards where you like the tall glass, that's usually like a plastic fencing kind of rink.
Okay. All right.
But obviously there's a scoreboard, the penalty boxes, which, maybe we'll have you be, when we get this up and running, maybe you can be the between the glass guy. You ever watch that on like NHL?
Yeah.
Dave the Save between the boards.
No.
Come on.
I'll be out there running with the kids.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyways,
what do you need to do? You've got a meeting tomorrow night.
We got a meeting tomorrow night. So it's a virtual town hall meeting hosted between Mohawk Valley Hockey Club and the EMPowerPlay Project, which is helping us to make this project a reality. Go to our Facebook page, Mohawk Valley Hockey Club -youth. I've also got a link for our website. I don't have it with me.
Yeah.
Captain Professional over here,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But the easiest way to do it is to go through our Facebook page. The link is pinned right to the top of the page.
Yep.
Click on it. It's a Zoom meeting, but it's a big, like a town hall. So you'll be registered in. Any questions anybody has, this is the time to ask them. Or if you just want to know more about it and how to get involved, sit back, enjoy, hear what's got to be said, and away we go.
So what are you trying to do? I mean, you're trying to raise money, or what's the aim here to
ultimately, yes. I mean, of course, money has to get raised, but I shouldn't say before, but along with that, we definitely need to get more people involved with the project. Several different skill sets, right? So you need business savvy people. You need obviously social media. People who know social media. Anybody out there who knows how to write grants, that would be great. Any kind of skill set that anybody thinks that they can bring to the table to help out, we'll take, because I mean, it's many hands make the job easier. Right?
But you're initially trying to raise a kind of a small, I mean, what's the overall cost of this thing?
So,
and then how much do you have to raise, kind of thing?
Right. So the hockey club has to come up with $24,000. So we're working on that. And then once all that criteria is met, that's when the next level of fundraising comes in, which is, when you're talking about larger amounts and all that, but that's also, you're talking about corporations, stuff like that. Kelly can explain that much better than I do.
I know he can. Yeah.
So that's why you got to tune into this meeting tomorrow night to hear what Kelly has to say and let him explain it all. So,
but do you have a level you're trying to get to, no matter how you raise the money, grants or corporate sponsors or whatever? Do you know, did he give you kind of an estimate of what this costs? And you don't have to get it all, right?
No. So a rink like this costs around $250,000 to $260,000 to build, which ultimately, if you look at it compared to building an ice rink, is not that much.
No,
it really isn't. But you still have to. There's still obviously costs involved. I mean, you have to put the concrete pad down. You have to do this and that. So, but again, this is all stuff that Kelly will, of course, go through on the meeting tomorrow. And if you're interested, by all means, like I said, go to our Facebook page, Mohawk Valley Hockey Club -youth. Click on that link right on the top and welcome aboard.
And you got a spot already donated too, right? For the
yes,
rink. Yes.
That's what I was saying up in Mohawk. So it's on the site of the old Mohawk ASO field, the soccer field. If you're driving on 5S, if you're going towards Ilion, you look to your right by the sewer plant. You look to your right, you'll see where the old nets were and all that. Or obviously, if you're coming from Ilion towards Herkimer, look to your left. And apparently, there's going to be a softball field that's going to go there too.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be a nice little complex, actually.
Yeah, nice little youth sports complex kind of going up.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's cool.
All right. So, like I said, 7:00 tomorrow night, if you're interested. So, while we're waiting for Drew, you know what? I can't wait anymore. I want to get into this playoff preview show.
Oh God.
You know what? If he's not here on time, guess what?
Guess what? You're
my sounding board.
I was trying to stretch you out here with questions. I had more.
Hey.
I could have kept you going for another 10 minutes. But
well, maybe we'll get back to that.
All right.
Later on. What do you think?
Yep.
All right. So I'll tell you what. Normally we start in the Eastern Conference, but that's kind of Drew's wheelhouse. So we're going to start in the West.
Oh,
well,
whose wheelhouse would that be?
The Wild Wild West, my friend. That's me.
Yeah.
So anybody who's watching out there, please, as I'm making these matchups, give us your predictions. I want to hear what everybody's got to think. Okay. So here we go. The first matchup is the number 1 seeded Colorado Avalanche versus, as of right now, the number 8 seeded Dallas Stars. And I say as of right now because they're still kind of neck and neck with the Nashville Predators in those wild card spots. Dallas hasn't officially clinched yet, but they're about as close to clinching as you can get without clinching, which it could happen tonight. So anyways, for right now, we're going to assume that it's Colorado and Dallas. All right. So the Colorado Avalanche now have a record of 56-18-6 for 118 points. They've been kicking a lot of butt. A lot. Let's see, they have 303 goals scored this year, which is the 4th most in the league. They have allowed 224, which is 7th best in the league. Their power play is 24.5%, which is 6th best. And their penalty kill is 79.3%, which is actually 17th best in the league. So if there's a weakness on the Colorado Avalanche, it is their penalty kill. Dallas Stars have a record of 45-30-5 for 95 points. 226 goals they have scored. That's 23rd most in the league. 238 goals they have allowed, which is 15th best. Their power play is 22.1%, which is 12th. And their penalty kill is 79.1%, which is 18th. Now, I am just going to say this. If this is indeed the first playoff matchup, it's going to be a quick one.
It's going to be fast. It's going to be, yeah.
Listen, the Stars, they're a plucky team, and
Colorado is just
Colorado's loaded.
Yeah,
they're just stacked to the gills. Yeah. So, you know what? I don't see any upset happening here at all. None whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be 5 games. I think Dallas will. Because remember, these are all best 4 out of 7. So, but yeah, I just don't see it happening on this one. So
I thought you were going to sweep it there. So.
No, you know what? I got to tell you something. I get so leery about sweeps.
Yeah.
Because, they're fun if you call it. But, I mean, that is regardless of how much better one team is than another team. In the NHL, a sweep is so difficult to do.
Well, even in the playoffs.
Exactly.
There's always something weird that
exactly.
goes on, so, yeah.
You just got me thinking about that one song there from There Was Always Something There Too. I don't know why.
Where is that coming from?
I think it was in a commercial. I don't know. Anyways, next matchup before I start thinking of any other 80 songs.
I don't have royalties on that. I can't play it. So.
Good. The number 2 seeded Calgary Flames are taking on the number 7 Nashville Predators. Like I said, they're all in a little flippy flop right now, but right now it's Calgary versus Nashville.
So Dallas and Nashville could flip.
Possibly.
Okay.
There's a potential for it, but as of right now, no. So anyways, the Calgary Flames, they've also been quite the wagon this year. They are 50-20-10 for 110 points. They scored 288 goals, which is 6th best in the league. They've allowed 200, which is 3rd best in the league. Their power play is 23.5%, which is 9th best. And their penalty kill is 83.6%, which is 6th in the league. This team does just about everything right. The Nashville Predators, also known as the Smashville Predators, because they're quite the physical team. Their record is 44-29-7 for 95 points. They have scored 254 goals, which is 12th in the league. They've allowed 241, which is 16th. Their power play is 24.6%, which is the 5th best in the league. And their penalty kill is 78.9%, which is 19th. Once again, I foresee a short series here, especially since UC Saros, the Nashville goaltender who started 67 games this year, which is unheard of in the NHL nowadays for a goalie. He's hurt. So we don't really know what the extent of it is, but even still, if Saros is hurt, this is going to be a quick series.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is going to be another five game series. And to be perfectly honest with you, it doesn't matter if the Stars and the Preds flip flop. Even if it ends up Nashville and Colorado, it's a 5-game series. Yeah. If it's the Stars and the Flames, it's a 5-game series. I don't see it happening. No upsets in the future here.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I got so far.
All right.
All right. So let me, you'll hear that. I'm old school, by the way, guys.
You've got it handwritten here.
Handwritten. I've got a notebook out.
I know.
This is, you know what, this almost reminds me of like old press box.
Yeah.
I should have like a fedora and a cigar.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No?
Okay. What do you mean? You don't want to smell cigar smoke in your house? And
I actually have had cigars in the studio here.
Really?
Shot some video for, remember that bourbon and cigar pairing last October? Did a commercial, had all kinds of props and things over in the other half of the studio over here. And
I wish I'd known that.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have the video available here, but I could run it for you.
We'll go over it sometime.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next matchup. Now we're going into the Central Division divisional matchups. So it's going to be the Minnesota Wild versus the St. Louis Blues. This is going to be a good one because the Wild are 51, 22, and 7 for 109 points. They have scored 298 goals, which is fifth most in the league. They've allowed 246, which is 18th. Their power play is 20.3%, which is 19th. Their penalty kill is 75.4, which is 27th. Not a very good penalty kill at all. Mm. The Blues, on the other hand, are 49, 21, and 14 for 109 points. I couldn't even read my own handwriting. I told you I forgot my glasses.
Told you. Chicken scratch over there anyway.
Well, hey, listen. They say the genius writes like that.
No, they don't.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah.
They have scored 305 goals, which is third most in the league. 232 goals they've allowed, which is 11th. Their power play is 26.5%, which is the second best power play in the league. And their penalty kill is 84.4%, which is fourth best in the league. I'm going to tell you something. Before I put this all together today, I was thinking Minnesota was going to take this series. In my head, I'm going, wow, this is Minnesota's year. They look good. They got a great record. Then I started looking at the numbers. And I'm like, how?
So was it their year for division or to go all the way?
Honestly, I thought that they would maybe get to the conference final.
Okay. But
then I started looking at their special teams. I mean, they score a lot of goals, right? But they don't keep them out of the net, and yeah, they went and got Marc-Andre Fleury, who is, a great goaltender, but he's pretty much backing up Cam Talbot because Cam Talbot is actually, to be honest with you, has played a lot better lately than he had been. But the St. Louis Blues, for their part, have been playing excellent hockey as well. And now you look at these numbers and it's like, wow, this is starting to look like the team that won the Stanley Cup in 2019.
Yeah. So I would have won out with Minnesota right off the bat. But
yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I think this is a 7-game slugfest. Mm. I see it happening, and I think it's the St. Louis Blues that are going to prevail out of this one. I really think that. Just because the Wild, with their, I'm sorry for lack of a better term, terrible special teams, and with the Blues having the great special teams that they do, they got a loaded offense, and they can keep the puck out of the net, which is, there's all your ingredients right there.
Well, unless you got people, firing the damn thing at you every 2 seconds.
True.
Keep them all out.
True, but, like I said, I still think this is a 7-game series. I'm going to go with the St. Louis Blues, and which is going to lead us right into our last matchup for the Western Conference.
Put me down for Minnesota on that. Just so
okay.
Write it down.
Actually, okay.
Yeah.
We should do this.
I've agreed with you so far.
Okay, so let's see. Dave, this is going to be fun because I want to see who's right after all this. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you get more right than I do, I quit. I quit.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So you've agreed with me on the other two so far.
I did. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Scott and Dave, Colorado. Okay. And let's see. Scott and Dave, Calgary.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you said that because,
yeah. Make it a little fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got it in a notebook, so I can't lose it.
Yeah. Right.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Anyways, last matchup out of the West so far. It is the Edmonton Oilers against the LA Kings. My team made it.
You got to go with your heart, or you got to go with what's real?
So let me lay the tail of the tape down here first,
right.
Okay? And then I'll do it.
All right.
The Oilers have a record of 47, 27, and 6 for 100 points. They've scored 278 goals, which is 7th most in the league. They have allowed 245, which is 17th. Their power play is 26.1%, which is third best in the league. The penalty kill is 79.5%, which is 16th. The LA Kings are 43, 27, and 10 for 96 points. They've scored 228 goals, which is 20th in the league. They have allowed 226, which is 9th best in the league. Their power play is 16.5%, which is not very good, and it's 26th in the league. And their penalty kill is 76.4%, which is 23rd in the league. Now, the tea leaves that with the Kings not being very good on special teams, this should be a quick series, especially with Edmonton's offense. But I'm going to tell you something. I started looking. Now, you would think with a team that's got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evander Kane, all the offensive firepower that Edmonton has. I was astounded to see that they're only 7th in the league on offense.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I really thought that they would be top 3 because I follow hockey, but I didn't pay too much attention to like all these stats that I'm throwing at you until this afternoon. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, how is this possible?
Well, the way you guys have talked about Edmonton in the past, I mean, just would make you think they're a hell of a powerhouse.
Well, you know what? They should be. They should be. And, I understand that their goaltender, Mike Smith, has been playing very good as of late. But here's my problem with Edmonton. I have seen this Mike Smith movie before, where Mike Smith has a great 2-3 weeks, unbeatable. He can stop anything, and then, like a switch,
goes away. Yeah.
Bang. The pumpkin returns, right? And
after one of the games is after midnight, right?
Something like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
like that,
well, especially it's on the West Coast, so it's always midnight for us. So, and the Oilers did not upgrade their goaltending at the trade deadline, which a lot of people said, listen, you want to be a serious contender, you need to upgrade that goaltending. Now, with the Kings, they've got some warts. There's no doubt about it. They have a very hard time scoring goals at times. Sure, they do. But the Kings do have something that's extremely important in this playoffs, and especially against a team like Edmonton. They have Philip Deneau and they have Anze Kopitar, 2 of the best defensive centers in the league. And when you can go 1-2 with Kopitar and Deneau matched up against McDavid and Draisaitl, and if you look at last year's playoffs, because Deneau was playing for the Montreal Canadiens, who played the Edmonton Oilers, and by the way, beat the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs last year, Philip Deneau made Connor McDavid a non-factor, which is extremely hard to do.
Yeah.
Very hard. But he did it. And now he's in LA. Who are they playing? Of course, the Edmonton Oilers. And here's another little caveat, right? The Kings had a little goaltending problem this season because neither one of their goaltenders, Jonathan Quick or Kel Peterson, they went get hot, get cold, get hot, get cold. Jonathan Quick now looks like the goaltender that won the Stanley Cup in 2012 and 2014. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to carry the Kings to the Cup this year, but throw in the fact of Kopitar, Deneau, Quick playing like he's 28 years old again. I'm going Kings in 6. I'm doing it. I'm doing it because, yes, I know you're not supposed to pick with your heart. I get it. I understand it.
You tried to rationalize this whole thing with stats is what you tried to do. What your heart says.
I did.
All right. So let me flip it. Then I'll go Edmonton in 6.
Okay. Scott, Kings in 6. Dave, Oilers in 6. Okay. Well, at least you feel better, too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Good Lord. Here, let me get my car and rev it up outside the studio.
Well, yeah, sure. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got another disagreement on this. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. So we've now got our picks that we got. Let's see. You have Colorado, Calgary, Minnesota, and the Oilers. I have Colorado, Calgary, St. Louis, and the Kings. I'm going to put you on the spot. Just pick one. Pick one of your 4 to go to the Stanley Cup final.
Oh, to the finals?
To the finals. Because the NHL is weird. Once it gets into the second round, there's no reseeding. It's very, very weird how they set the remainder up. So
I got to pick from this group?
Before your 4 winners. One of those four's got to make the final.
Colorado.
It's not a bad choice, really.
No.
It's not. So Dave has Colorado in the final. Okay. I'll tell you who I'm going with out of that entire group. I wanted to do the same thing because when the Colorado Avalanche are on, they are a phenomenal team to watch. They really are. But I am going with the Calgary Flames.
Really?
The Calgary Flames are built for the playoffs. They're built for it. They're strong down the middle. They're strong defensively. Jacob Markstrom, former Utica Comet, by the way, is having a hell of a season. He has proven he is a big-time goaltender. And Daryl Sutter has been there, done that, as far as Stanley Cup finals and playoff pressure to boot. So you take all that combined, and I seriously think, as much as I wanted to go with Colorado, and I'll tell you why after we get done with the Eastern Conference, my brain, even though you might think I was a little crazy taking the Kings, that's fine. That's fine. My brain says go with Calgary. Go with Calgary. So I'm going to go with Calgary.
Okay.
In the Cup final. Calgary in final. Scott. Okay. What do you say? Want to take a commercial break? I think we could maybe use a little catch our breath here and
what breath?
1, 2, 3, whatever.
Yeah. All right, we can.
So
do that.
before we do all that, why don't we? Well, you know what? We didn't do it last week. Let's get a word in from our friends at the Balls Army.
Oh, all right.
You know,
Jeez,
pull those up, and then we'll do breakaway trivia.
You're killing me.
Why? What do I do now? Okay, if you need your home inspected, Priceless Inspections is the way to go. Josh Amodio, you can catch him at 315-525-8725. He will meet all of your home inspection needs as Priceless Home Inspections. And for DJ needs, this one's really interesting. So you got Scott Schuster of Epic DJ Service. As soon as we get that number up, there we go. The number is 315-219-3568. That's Scott Schuster's Epic DJ Service. Like I've said every single time we've talked about this, you want this guy doing your DJ service because I'm telling you, I've seen him in action with the Balls Army, and it's a blast. So trust me.
My son's got that set up. He's doing that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. No, he's
DJing or home inspection?
No, DJ.
Okay. Well,
yeah, no, he's got the whole setup and whatever.
Really?
And yeah.
You gonna join him? I think that would be awesome.
What?
If you became a DJ.
Me?
Yeah.
I did radio before.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I was. They called me Reverend Dave. I did the Sunday morning, 6 a.m. to noon.
No.
Yeah, on an album-oriented rock station in Biloxi, Mississippi, or actually out of Gulfport, Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah.
When was that?
TK 102, home of the Gulf Coast's best rock and roll.
No way.
Yeah.
When was that?
85.
Oh man, you were like in the golden age of rock music too.
No, it was a lot of fun.
I bet it was
fun. The station got sold, became a country station. Then I got a girlfriend and went country, and so.
Yeah, it sounds
all right,
like
back to
sounds
hockey.
like a country song.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do breakaway trivia, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get my question pulled up here in the old trusty notebook. All right, this week's breakaway trivia question is: what goaltender holds the NHL record for most playoff wins all time? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back. We just got done watching Dave's awesome commercial.
Yeah.
Love it.
You know, Joshua came on late, he said, and he's picking Calgary in the West.
Hey, see?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Somebody agrees. Smart guy.
You have one person agreeing with you. So.
That's okay. It's better than none.
Okay.
Oh, so breakaway trivia. You want that question one more time? I think you do.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
I had something in my head and I can't come up with the name.
It was probably from 1985, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was fermenting in 1985.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a real easy question.
I know.
Who holds the all-time record for wins in the playoffs? What goaltender?
I don't know. We don't have anybody who's chimed in, so.
Okay. Oh, it's Patrick Waugh.
That was not the name I had in my head.
151.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue on with our playoff preview. We're going to go to the Eastern Conference. I'm guessing that Drew is still being interviewed. I'm sure this is.
Yeah, we're stretching it as much as we can.
That's all right. Because you know what? We always have so much fun.
I know. All right.
Of course.
You're stretching the boundaries of my hockey knowledge.
No, I'm expanding them.
You're stretching them.
Stretching, expanding. What's the difference?
There's a big difference.
Oh, okay. Well,
expanding means I have the room for it. Stretching means I've gone as far as I can go and you're pulling on me. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, moving right along.
Yeah.
The Eastern Conference. Our first matchup features the number 1 seed Florida Panthers versus the number 8 seed as of right now, the Washington Capitals. That could flip-flop too, and I'll tell you going down the road which team that could be. So the Florida Panthers have a record of 57, 17, and 6 for 120 points. Yeah, they have scored 331 goals, which is the most in the NHL. They've allowed 232, which is 11th best. Their power play is at 24.4%, which is 7th best in the league. Their power play is 79.5%, which is 13th. The Caps, let's see, they are 44, 24, and 12 for 100 points. They've scored 267 goals, which is 10th most in the league. They've allowed 234, which is 13th. Their power play is 19.2%, which is 22nd. And their penalty kill is 81.2%, which is 10th. Now, before I started looking all of this, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Florida is going to walk all over.
Yeah, you were going full bore Florida.
I was.
Yeah.
I really was. But, I dug into those numbers a little bit. And Washington actually has very sneaky good numbers. They do. Good. Just because and I guess
it's all the political influence down there, right?
I don't know.
Sneaky good.
Whatever. I mean, keep me out of the beltway, will you? But no, their numbers are actually a lot better than I thought they were, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, they did have a few struggles during the season, but they really rebounded nicely. And you know what? They put together a 100-point campaign, and they still have another game to play. So they could potentially have 102 points, which is really nothing to sneeze at all. Unfortunately for them, they're playing the Florida Panthers, who are an absolute buzzsaw right now.
Yeah.
So if it does indeed end up Florida versus Washington, and I wish Drew was here because Drew is our resident, Caps guy.
Yeah.
I got to go with Florida, but it's going to be in 6 games. It's going to be in 6. The Caps will not be a pushover for them at all. I do think that ultimately it's going to be the goaltending. It's going to kind of let them down. Samsonov and Vejicek are good goaltenders, but I don't see either one of them capable of pulling off a gigantic upset over the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
It's interesting with the goaltending too, because Sergei Bobrovsky, who was the big free agent goaltender signing for the Panthers a couple of years ago. So he had an awful season his first year there, and everybody was going crazy. Like, why did they sign him for all that money? Why did they sign him long term? He's terrible. Well, fact of the matter is, he's also a 2-time Vezina Trophy champion, or winner. I'm saying champion, winner, which is obviously the best goaltender in the league, right? And that was on Columbus Blue Jacket teams that weren't very good. So that first year of him being awful in Florida was more of an aberration than anything else. This season, he has shown why they signed him to that kind of a contract. And he is showing why he won 2 Vezinas. So all of that put together, not to mention the fact that Claude Giroux and Ben Chiarot are blending in very well there after being acquired at the trade deadline. Sorry, Caps. I mean, like I said, they've got good numbers. They really do. I can't see them getting by Florida. But we can. There's another possibility in there that we're going to talk about in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. But first, now, oh yeah, by the way, who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Florida.
Okay. Yeah, because I almost forgot to ask you.
Yeah. No, I was gonna go ahead and just offer the answer up.
Okay. I'm sure you were.
Those numbers are pretty astounding and pretty close. Maybe 7.
Yeah. You know what? That could be because here's another thing too with the Caps. They themselves are just coming off a Stanley Cup win 4 years ago, and they still have a lot of players on that team that were on that run.
Yeah.
So they've got the playoff experience. It's there. Like I said, it's just I just think in the end there's just too much for Florida to overcome. But that's going to be a much more interesting series if it does end up indeed Florida and Washington than a lot of people think. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, like you said, in the beginning, you just, Florida all the way. Just don't even think about it. Yeah.
And then you look at it and it's like, well, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to our next one, and then we'll kind of come back to that. And I'll tell you why. This sounds a little confusing. I know, but roll your eyes. Hey, you know what? But it took you 40 minutes to roll your eyes at me today. Wow. I'm losing my touch. Usually it's within the first 20 seconds.
You didn't see it when you walked in?
No.
All right.
I didn't have my glasses. All right. So we got the number 2 seed Carolina Hurricanes versus the number 7 seed Boston Bruins. Now this is the matchup that's going to happen. This one's pretty much locked in. The Hurricanes have a record of 53, 20, and 8 for 114 points. They've scored 271 goals, which is 9th in the league. They've allowed 197, which is the best in the league. Their power play is at 22.3%, which is 11th best. Their penalty kill is a very impressive 88%, which is number 1. The Bruins have scored 246 goals, which is 15th most in the league. They've allowed 213, which is 4th best. Their power play is at 20.5%, which is 17th best. Penalty kill is at 81.3, which is 9th best. Now, on paper, looking at those numbers, you would think that the Carolina Hurricanes are going to spank the Boston Bruins. You would think it. However, there are quite a few questions for the Carolina Hurricanes. Starting in goal, their goaltender, Frederik Andersen, who has carried them this season, he's been phenomenal, is hurt. He's out. He's got a foot injury, and we don't know just yet if he's going to be ready to go for the playoffs. Backing him up is Antti Raanta, who, he won a Stanley Cup back in 2010, but that was 12 years ago. Okay. And he was hurt as well, even though he did back up the other night. The Bruins, on the other hand, are playing very good hockey right now. You still, as much as you want to count out like Bergeron, Marchand, Pastrnak, you can't, because they've just time and time again, they've proven that they can produce. Not only that, let's not forget the Carolina Hurricanes are the former Hartford Whalers. And for any of us hockey fans from back in the 80s and the 90s know, from the old Adams Division matchups, the Whalers could never beat the Bruins in the playoffs. Dave, here is my upset here.
Okay.
Boom. Boom. It's the Bruins in 7.
You know what? So Josh he says he's going with the Canes. I was going with the Bruins.
You are too?
I am.
Wow.
Because way back when we first started this, you said pick a team, and I said Buffalo, which turned out to be
but I'm telling you though, in a couple of years,
that's a couple of years, But I realized, because I grew up in Springfield, so I did see some of the games in Springfield.
Sure.
But then I was like, I was a Bruins fan for a long time. I mean, I was out of hockey for forever, but so I'm going to go with that, like you did with the Kings. Use your heart.
Yeah, exactly. So, sometimes you just got to follow your heart.
Yeah.
How many games?
I think 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good enough. Good enough. Now, this is the other series I was talking about. So the next series up is the New York Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Rangers are in 2nd place in the Metro. The Penguins are in 3rd. Okay. However, the Capitals being in that number 8 seed, that means they're the 2nd wild card spot. they could flip-flop with the Penguins.
Okay.
They can't outpoint the Bruins, who are in the wild card 1 spot.
Right.
But they can flip-flop, and I'll show you why in just a second.
How many games they got left?
So Washington has 1, Pittsburgh has 2.
Okay.
All right. So let's do this first. The Rangers, their record is 51-23-6 for 108 points. They have scored 244 goals, which is 16th best in the league. They have allowed 198, which is second best. Their power play is clicking along at a 25.8% rate, which is 4th best in the league. Their penalty kill is 82.2%, which is 8th. The Penguins are 45-25-12 for 100 points. Let's see, they have scored 264 goals, which is 11th best in the league. They have allowed 219, which is 6th best. I was actually quite surprised by that. The power play is at 20.4%, which is 18th. And the penalty kill is at 85%, which is 3rd best. So if the Capitals finish with more points than the Penguins, they will slot into that 3rd spot in the Metro. Okay. At which point the Penguins would go down to the wild card 2 spot and face the Florida Panthers.
I think they'd be over quick.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Here's the problem for the Penguins. Tristan Jarry is out. Their goaltender. And if they got to go with Casey DeSmith in these playoffs, Josh, I know you love the Penguins.
He's still picking the pens.
I know. I tell you, man, I tell you, that's going to be a tall order though with Casey DeSmith. But I do want to point a few things out here. For as much credit as the Rangers offense gets, I was shocked to see that they're 16th in the league in scoring.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. 244 goals. I thought they would be top 5, top 10. They're not. But obviously their defense has been phenomenal. Igor Shesterkin has been just lights out, their goaltender, all season long. He could potentially win the Hart Trophy. Maybe. I mean, it's all dependent on how the writers are feeling. The Hart Trophy, by the way, is the MVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case you wonder.
I'd heard that before.
Okay.
I think it was a trivia question, wasn't it?
Was
Somebody
it?
who won the Hart Trophy? I can't remember.
See, you are expanding your knowledge. It's not stretch. It is expanding. You just don't realize it.
It's a stretch that I know anything about hockey is what it is. Yeah.
Well, you've been around me long enough, haven't you?
It is true.
But the Rangers special teams have been outstanding. Power play, especially 4th best in the league, which has been great. The Penguins, I will tell you, I was really surprised that they've only allowed 219 goals. So, which is telling me that and the penalty kill is outstanding too, 85%, which is 3rd best in the league. But here's the thing. And like I said, Josh, I know you love the Penguins. I can't see them getting by the Rangers. I can't. The Rangers have been playing too good going into.
Is it going to be a fight or what do you think?
Boy, I tell you, and especially when in my head, I never want to bet against Sidney Crosby. Because Sidney Crosby has almost become like the Tom Brady of the NHL. Every time you bet against the guy, he does something, right? But I think it's been like 3 seasons in a row now that the Penguins have been bounced in the first round. For whatever reason. You know, you can jump in the weeds on that all you want. I think I wanted to go Rangers in 5, but I think being a divisional battle like this, it'll be 6.
Okay.
I think so. I would actually love to see a Rangers Capitals matchup.
Ooh, that would be
fun.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun. Given what happened last season with the whole Tom Wilson, Artemi Panarin, you know, which is funny. I got to tell you though, it's funny because you don't hear about that anymore. You know, it's like, remember when that happened? It was,
I don't know.
Yeah. It was gigantic, right? It was all over the place.
You love Tom Wilson.
And then all of a sudden, well, important Jeremy's not even here to defend himself.
I know.
Again. So anyways, like I said, I would love to see a Rangers Capitals matchup. I think that would be a lot of fun, even though I think the Rangers would end up taking that one too. But I want to know your opinion, Dave. If it is the Rangers and the Penguins.
Oh, I'm going to go with the Rangers for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So
and I'm not sure it'll be as close.
No?
No, I think they might do better.
So what do you think?
I'd say in 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. So we got one more man, and we're agreeing way too much here. Way too much.
Well, Josh says that the Pens have lost the last 4 against the Rangers. So see, he's even though he loves the Pens, he's sitting there with me,
Well, I mean, but here's the thing though, too. I will tell you this. There's a reason I did not include head-to-head matchups in this, with all the numbers and all that.
Right.
Take the regular season and throw it out the window when
Well,
it comes
you do
to all
in the
that.
playoffs, yeah.
You take that, it's gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many teams one team won against the other because it's an entirely different situation.
But the stats matter, though, too. Don't they?
Stats do matter.
Yeah.
Because, the stats matter because you can get a kind of a snapshot of what the team's strengths are, what they're not. But as far as like head-to-head, because listen, throughout the season, you also have teams that are dealing with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know if that, let's say, I think the range, like Josh, it was 3-0-1, I think. But who knows who was hurt for the Penguins? Who knows who was hurt for you don't know.
Yeah.
So by the playoffs.
So you're not looking at those head-to-head matches over the course of the whole season. It's like, okay, now let's look at the stats and this is the playoffs. And okay.
It's a part of the pie.
Yeah.
Right? It's a part of the pie, but it's not the whole thing. So that's just my opinion anyways. I mean, I'm sure somebody else probably thinks, well, hey, head-to-head means everything. They already played them. So, but whatever.
They know them.
Yeah. They reached out and touched someone. Remember that? It was the Bell Atlantic commercial. No?
Go back.
The phone.
Yeah.
Anyways, one more matchup to go. I'm starting to get a little loopy.
A little.
We have got the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Fun series here. This is going to be fun.
I want to hear the numbers, though, because it might change your mind. But, yeah, go ahead.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs record is 53-21-7 for 113 points. They have scored 307 goals, which is second best in the league. They've allowed 250, which is 20th best. Their power play is 27.2%, the best in the league. It's a lethal power play. Penalty kill is 82.4%, which is seventh best. Your defending Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning, are 50-22-8 for 108 points. They have scored 277 goals this year, which is eighth best in the league. They've allowed 219, which is fifth best. Their power play is at 23.5%, which is eighth best. And the penalty kill is 81%, which is 12th. I am going to say this is going to be a must-see TV series.
Yeah.
This is going to be a lot of fun because everybody knows about the Toronto Maple Leafs first-round woes in the playoffs. It's like their kryptonite.
Yeah.
That was the word I was looking for, right? And everybody knows that the Tampa Bay Lightning are the two-time the defending Stanley Cup champions. Okay? There are some that are thinking, well, the Tampa Bay Lightning have also got a lot of miles on those tires. They've played a ton of hockey over the past few years. Could be getting a little bit worn down, but Toronto Maple Leafs are a young team. You got the young guns. Austin Matthews, the first American player, by the way, ever score 60 goals in a season.
Wow. Yeah.
Quite impressive. You look at this offense, it's a buzzsaw, right? Absolute buzzsaw. So it really comes down to Flash versus Bash, right? And
you got to go with an upset, aren't you?
I want to go with Toronto Maple Leafs. I do. But it's like Ric Flair once said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! And brother, I don't see them beating the Tampa Bay Lightning. I just don't. I think there's too much experience there. I think it's going to go 7. I think this series is going to go 7. Here's my concern. If you get to a game 7, who would you rather have in your net? Would or would you rather have Jack Campbell? And Jack Campbell's a great guy. Awesome guy. But we're talking about game 7, win or go home. Would you rather not have the guy who's got a couple Vezinas? Or he's got one Vezina, I think. But he's been like the best goaltender in the league for the past 3 years. Who are you going with? I got to go with the Lightning. I do. I as much as I'd like to see the Maple Leafs finally break that curse and, so we can just stop hearing about it. Stop hearing about it. Make it over.
Okay, so write your thing down there. I'm going to go the other way.
Oh.
I think they're going to break the curse.
Okay.
And I have a feeling the younger players are going to pull it out. It's not going to go 7.
No.
5 or 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which one?
Let's say 6 just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
But
all right.
6, yeah.
All right. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. You know,
you do.
I might not be mentioning this in a couple months, but
Yeah, you might not.
Okay, so out of your 4 picks that you have made in the East, let's see. You have picked the Florida Panthers, the Boston Bruins, the New York Rangers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who's going to the final out of that group?
Florida.
Going with Florida. Dave is Florida. All right. So let's see. I have Florida and Boston as well, and the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, here I just got done singing the praises about the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes, you did.
Right?
But you're not going to choose.
Nope.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not. I mean, I'll tell you that Eastern Conference is going to be a war. It's going to be a war. There's just no doubt about it. I just kind of think this is Florida's year.
Yeah.
I think so. And the fact that they were able to do a lot of this without Aaron Ekblad, their star defenseman, who got hurt and has been on IR for a good half the season, I think now. But at this point, it is just incredibly impressive. And I think this season is finally Sergei Bobrovsky's chance to prove that he's a playoff goaltender. To prove it. Shesterkin from the Rangers, their goaltender, put up phenomenal numbers this year. Outstanding. You know how many playoff games he's played?
None?
One.
Okay.
He's played 1. So you know what I'm really hoping for is that it does come down to like Florida and Tampa Bay in the conference final. Because I want to see that Florida, because that has been making a great rivalry, right? Yeah. I mean, they played in the playoffs last year, but Tampa Bay won. So this is almost kind of like payback.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for. Who knows if it's going to happen? But I think it's going to be the Florida Panthers versus the Calgary Flames in the final.
Really?
Yeah, because I picked Calgary out of the West.
Well, I know.
So, and I think despite Calgary's very good all-around game, I think it's Florida that takes it.
Yeah, for against Calgary, yeah.
So I think you had Colorado, correct?
Yes.
So you got Colorado.
I would still stick with Florida.
Wow, we're agreeing too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's like March Madness. By the time you get this far down into it, we're going to be so wrong it won't even matter.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. You're right, for starters. And this is exactly why I went with Calgary out of the West, because the ideal matchup would be Colorado and Florida.
Yeah.
My God! What a series that would be to watch.
Yeah, I almost said Colorado, but
that would be a phenomenal series.
Yeah.
But everybody knows in sports things don't work out perfectly. Yeah. When's the last time you've seen a number 1 seed out of one conference facing another number 1 seed out of the other conference?
It almost never happens.
Never, right?
Yeah.
And in my head, I knew I was going with Florida. I was going to run the table with Florida. So the contrarian part of me says, well, you can't have 2 number 1s.
Yeah.
But keep in mind now, I'm big enough to admit this. I will admit this. If you recall in our preseason show, I picked the Islanders and the Winnipeg Jets to be in the final, and both of those teams fell flat on their faces. So I really hope
that. Yeah.
I hope I am not
this far down the line. It just doesn't matter what we say.
So I truly hope I am not cursing the Florida Panthers at this point.
Yeah,
but no. So that's we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'll make it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's wrap this up with a little bit of Comets news here. Frederick Gauthier turned 27 on Tuesday. So hopefully he's looking to be coming back for the playoffs, which would be really nice because they've missed him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've been paying any attention or not, but
I only pay attention to Marty's illegal stick.
Yeah, well.
I don't look at anything else.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Our Utica Comets have clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference for the playoffs, which is awesome. They're going to have home ice advantage through at least the eastern part of it. If they do make the Calder Cup final, they'll start off on the road because the Western team, well, depending on who they play, I should say. But anyways, could very well be starting off on the road. Anyways, that notwithstanding, New Jersey has been pretty much picking them dry as of late. Alexander Holtz got called up today. Riley Walsh and Nolan Foote got called up the other day. They still have Fabian Zetterlund, Nikita Hotuk, and Kevin Ball. They'll all be back for the playoffs. So for the Calder Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I was telling you at the beginning of the show, the reason we're waiting till next week to do our playoff spectacular, because the Comets being number one in the North are going to play the winner of the 4 or 5 seed play-in round from the North Division, which is a 3-game series that's going to start, I think it's Sunday, I believe, something like that. So we're not going to know who they're going to play until the end of next week anyhow.
Right.
So that's why we did all that, but they're getting all those guys back.
Oh, I hope so.
No
excuses. I want everybody back.
But did I tell you I went down to New Jersey Saturday?
You did?
Saturday.
And I saw the picture on Facebook. Yeah.
Neil Villapiano.
Yeah.
Sat with him. What a time.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, if he gets fired up on this show, you should go to a game with him.
It was worse. Right?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him too, because he was telling me when we were sitting down, he's like, all right. He goes, well, I'm 0 for 8 this season at the Rock, which is where the Devils play, the Prudential Center, right? Poor guys. All 8 games he's gone to, lost. So now keep in mind, the Devils were playing the Hurricanes, who we just discovered are a very good team.
Yes.
Right? They were shutting them out 2-0 with 5 minutes left in the game. Poor Neil he's just getting happier and happier and happier as the game goes on, thinking, oh my God, this could have.
Didn't they lose in a shootout or what happened?
So they gave up 2 goals in that last 5 minutes, and it went to overtime. Carolina scored. I go, oh, man, this poor guy. Jeez. He said, well, he's like, well, and of course, my wife has to chime in that, well, don't worry about it. That's happened to our Comets, too. And she turns around and says to her, he goes, you don't understand. Your team actually wins these games, though. My team never does.
They went 13 in a row. I don't want to hear about it.
Basically what he said. He's like, you're in first place. Don't talk to me about misery.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was trying to look at, I was trying to read what Drew said here. He said, just jumped in, but looks like it's going to be a rough weekend for us. So he's crossing the border to the game in Rochester Friday night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I'll tell you, the Rochester Americans do surprise me. I mean, they were such a loaded team on offense. They shot themselves in the foot last weekend by dropping 2 games to Cleveland.
Yeah. They're a good team, though.
They're a very good team, but now they're going to be really hard pressed to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. But have fun in Rochester, Drew. We actually thought about going out to that game, but it's my daughter's birthday. I forgot. So we're.
You forgot your daughter's birthday?
Well,
is what you're admitting?
Yes, I am, because I thought it was. I got my dates mixed up. I can't help it. My wife has to remind me of these things, and so does Facebook.
Yeah, but Facebook reminds you the day of, which is
it's just weird. I get those numbers just turn around, and I don't know. Anyways, well, buddy, I think that's all the time we got for this week.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
I carried your ass for an hour.
You did too. You did a great job too.
Without anybody coming in. I don't know how I did that.
You got to be tired.
It's my extensive hockey knowledge.
It's expanded.
Stretched
to the limit.
Oh, geez.
Oh, well, tune in next week when we have our AHL North Comets playoff preview. Like I said, it's going to be a really good time. Keep an eye on martysillegalstick.com for all the goings on in the world of Marty's Illegal Stick, including all kinds of hockey stories about the local hockey area here. And check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Please subscribe on Spotify. And also check out some of Dave's shows on My Little Falls. Very interesting what he's got going on over there.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, for Dave the Save Warner, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Marty's Illegal Stick.